Hi, you're in class with Dr. T.
Today I will be talking about how the politics of the Enlightenment transformed the United States, France, and Haiti. Did the Enlightenment projects of the 18th century disrupt social hierarchies? Did it disrupt racism, sexism, and most of all, did it impact social inequality? What was the Enlightenment? The Enlightenment, an intellectual movement that emphasized reason, individualism, and skepticism of traditional authority, profoundly influenced political developments in the United States, France, and Haiti. Many other countries throughout the West as well. In the 1700s, the United States was a colony and was under the English crown. France was also a monarchy, and Haiti was one of France's prized colonies. The ideas of the Enlightenment would be borrowed in different ways. This video essay explores how Enlightenment rhetoric impacted these nations' politics and how it reshaped social hierarchies in both the short and long term, particularly focusing on the notions of inalienable rights and the rejection of absolute monarchy. The American Revolution, which started in 1775 and ended in 1783, was significantly influenced by Enlightenment principles. Thinkers like John Locke, whose ideas of natural rights asserted that inherently individuals possess life, liberty, and property independent of government, and Montesquieu, who advocated the separation of powers, influencing modern democratic governance and constitutional design, inspired the American colonists with ideas of natural rights and the separation of powers. These ideas inspired the precursor to what we call human rights. Also, it would be the 7-Year War, a global conflict between major European powers, reshaping colonial empires and setting the stage for American and French revolutions by straining British finances, prompting increased taxation and regulation on the American colonies. It was under these circumstances that Enlightenment ideologies were fertile ground to be tested. The imposition of the Stamp Act of 1765, perceived as taxation without representation, radicalized many colonial elites influenced by Enlightenment thought. In 1774, representatives from 12 colonies formed the Continental Congress, and by 1776, they issued the Declaration of Independence, asserting their right to self-governance. The American victory, aided by French support, resulted in the creation of a new nation in 1783, with the U.S. Constitution of 1789 embedding Enlightenment ideals like Montesquieu's separation of power. The American Revolution was a transformative event that fundamentally altered the political landscape of the 13 colonies, leading to the creation of the United States. However, the benefits of the revolution were not equally distributed among all members of society. While it empowered the white male land gentry and merchant class, it had limited impact on enslaved individuals and women, and the institution of slavery persisted, particularly in the southern states. Moreover, racism remained deeply entrenched, even as gradual abolition took place in the North. The revolution created a new nation primarily governed by white men of property. The founding fathers, many of whom were landed gentry or merchant class members, shaped the new government to protect their economic interests and social status. For example, the U.S. Constitution originally limited voting rights to white male property owners. In most states, effectively excluded all women, enslaved people, and most non-property holding men from political participation. The emphasis on property ownership reflected the interests of the gentry and the merchant class, which were concerned with maintaining economic stability and control over the new nation's wealth. In the early Republic years, political power was concentrated in the hands of the elite. Figures like George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and John Adams were all members of the landed gentry. The government structure included the Electoral College and the Senate, was designed partly to prevent what the framers saw as potential dangers of mob rule and to ensure that the interests of the property classes were protected, right? So the system was fundamentally set up to protect elites. Despite the rhetoric of liberty and equality, the revolution did not immediately lead to significant change for enslaved individuals or women. The Declaration of Independence assertion that all men are created equal did not extend to these groups. Slavery continued to thrive in the southern states where the economy was heavily dependent on slave labor, particularly in the production of cash crops like tobacco, rice, and later cotton. After the revolution, the status of enslaved people in the South remained largely unchanged. The United States, particularly those with large plantations, fiercely resisted any attempts to abolish slavery. The institution of slavery was so deeply entrenched that even Constitution included protections for it, such as the Three-Fifths Compromise, which counted enslaved individuals as 3/5 of a person for representation and taxation, thereby giving slaveholding states greater political power in the House of Representatives. Women also saw little immediate benefit from the revolution. Although some women like Abigail Adams advocated for greater rights and recognition, the legal status of women remained largely unchanged in the new republic. Women were still excluded from voting, holding public office, or owning property independently of their husbands in most states. Abigail Adams famously wrote to her husband, John Adams, in 1776, urging him to remember the ladies when drafting new laws for the fledgling nation. However, her plea was largely ignored, and women remained legally subordinate to men. The legal doctrine of coverture, which placed a married woman's legal rights and obligations under the control of her husband, continued to prevail in American law well into the 19th century. The persistence of slavery and entrenchment of racism in the southern states persisted. The economic interests of southern planters were closely tied to the institution of slavery, and they resisted any attempts of abolition. Even in the North, where gradual abolition began in the 18th century, racism remained deeply entrenched in the society. The abolition of slavery in the northern states was a slow and gradual process, often accompanied by significant racial discrimination against free African Americans. However, the revolution did set a precedent for future social justice movements, including the abolition of slavery with the 13th Amendment in 1865 and the civil rights movements of the 20th century, which aimed to extend Enlightenment ideals of equality and liberty to all citizens. Moving on to France. The French Revolution, which lasted roughly from 1789 to 1799, the so-called First Republic, was deeply rooted in Enlightenment thought, but driven by different socioeconomic conditions. The financial strain from the 7-Year War and subsequent support for American Revolution exacerbated French economic troubles, leading to increased taxes on the working class. French society was divided into 3 estates: the first estate, clergy; the second estate, nobility; and the third estate, commoners, including peasants, artisans, and the bourgeoisie. Enlightenment thinkers like Rousseau and Voltaire criticized the absolute monarchy and aristocratic privileges, resonating with the discontented Third Estate, which included the burgeoning merchant class and the impoverished sans-culottes. Rousseau criticized absolute monarchy by championing popular sovereignty and the social contract, while Voltaire condemned its tyranny, advocated for reason, individual freedoms, and the separation of church and state. In 1789, the bourgeoisie organized the masses leading to the storming of the Bastille and the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen, which proclaimed equality and abolished class privileges. The Marquis de Lafayette was instrumental in bridging American and French revolutionary ideals. In America, Lafayette's leadership at the Battle of Yorktown was pivotal, helping to secure the final victory against the British. Beyond the battlefield, he worked tirelessly to convince the French crown to support the American cause, leading to the crucial French alliance in 1778, which provided essential military and financial aid. In France, Lafayette's influence extended to political reform. As commander of the National Guard, he played a key role in shaping the revolution's early stages, advocating for a balance between revolutionary change and a monarchical stability. His efforts at drafting the declarations of the rights of man and citizen were foundational in enshrining Enlightenment principles into French law. The French monarchy was overthrown during the French Revolution, leading to the Reign of Terror from 1793 to 1794, where thousands, including King Louis XVI, were executed. Napoleon Bonaparte's rise to power in 1799 marked the end of this chaos and the beginning of his autocratic rule. Despite his dictatorship, the revolution dismantled the feudal system, as seen in the abolition of feudal privileges by the National Assembly in 1789, and empowered the bourgeoisie, who gained political and economic influence. However, the Napoleonic codes of 1804 severely restricted women's rights, reaffirming patriarchal control, which persisted until reforms like the right to vote only in 1944. Moving on to Haiti, the Haitian Revolution, which lasted from 1791 to 1804, was a unique and powerful application of Enlightenment principles, leading to the first successful slave revolt and the establishment of Haiti as an independent nation. Inspired by the French Revolution, the enslaved Africans in Saint-Domingue, under the leadership of Toussaint Louverture, leveraged the divisions among the white colonists and free people of color. The Enlightenment ideals of liberty and equality resonated deeply with the oppressed, driving their fight for freedom. Also should be noted, African spiritual traditions, particularly voodoo, provided organizational structure, unity, and resilience. And though rhetorically ideas of European enlightenment was important, African traditions loomed large in the Haitian Revolution. Leaders like the Maroon leader Jean-Francois Papillon and later Toussaint Louverture, along with figures such as Jean-Jacques Dessalines and Henri Christophe, blended these principles, utilizing Enlightenment rhetoric to legitimize the fight for freedom and African traditions to foster community and resistance. Papillon, a prominent Maroon leader, initiated early revolts that laid the groundwork for larger uprisings. Toussaint Louverture, inspired by Enlightenment ideals of liberty and equality, skillfully combined these with voodoo rituals and African communal practices to build a resilient and unified revolutionary movement, ultimately achieving independence and abolishing slavery in Haiti. The Haitian Revolution began in 1791 amidst the chaos of the French Revolution, marked by a mass slave uprising in the colony of Saint-Domingue. Like Toussaint Louverture, waged a protracted and brutal struggle against colonial and Napoleonic forces. This culminated in 1804 with Haiti's Declaration of Independence, making it the first Black republic and the first nation to abolish slavery entirely, thereby reshaping global perceptions of race, freedom, and colonialism. The Haitian Revolution achieved a more immediate and radical restructuring than those in the United States and France. It abolished slavery and established a society where formerly enslaved individuals could rise to power, influencing global perceptions of race and liberty. The success of the revolution served as an inspiration for subsequent anti-colonial movements and significantly impacted the Atlantic world's social political dynamics. For example, leaders like Simon Bolivar were significantly influenced by the Haitian Revolution. ideologically and materially. Bolivar received direct support from revolutionary Haiti, including troops and supplies from President Alexander Pétion, who insisted that Bolivar commit to the abolition of slavery in South America. Additionally, the Haitian Revolution served as a powerful example to enslaved people of African descent in the United States and beyond, demonstrating the possibility and reality of achieving freedom and self-governance through determined resistance. In conclusion, the Enlightenment ideology, with its emphasis on liberty, equality, and reason, profoundly influenced the American, French, and the Haitian revolutions by challenging the legitimacy of absolute monarchy and entrenched social hierarchies in the United States. Enlightenment thinkers like John Locke inspired the Declaration of Independence, advocating the natural rights and social contract as foundations of governance. The French Revolution, driven by Enlightenment ideals, sought to dismantle the feudal system, leading to the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen, which enshrined the principles of individual freedom and legal equality. In Haiti, the circulation of Enlightenment ideas among enslaved populations, combined with the revolutionary rhetoric of liberty, galvanized the first successful slave revolt, resulting in the establishment of the first Black Republic. These revolutions collectively redefined the relationship between the government and their governments, promoting the idea that sovereignty resides with the people, not rulers, and laying the groundwork for modern democratic societies. Social and racial hierarchies often persisted despite the profound changes spurred by the Enlightenment ideals. In the United States, slavery was entrenched, even as the nation espoused liberty in France. While the revolution dismantled feudal privileges, gender equality remained. In Haiti, racial hierarchies were overturned, yet economic disparities continued. Thus, while these revolutions challenged and reshaped power structures, many inequalities endured, reflecting the complex legacy of Enlightenment thought on social justice. Thank you. Please make comments, share, and like. Also, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.